Thanks, Edaraj. I've got you in line for immediate assistance with your Porsche on M-5 southbound near exit 68. Our driver is on the way to help with the engine trouble. We'll call you if we need any more info before they arrive. Hang tight. Help is coming.
Thank you. I bill service companies a few grand every month for AI agents I throw together in an afternoon. Let me break down exactly how I do it. So here's what happens. Tow truck operators are losing thousands because calls go straight to voicemail. Your guy is out on Route 66 securing a busted SUV. Your office person is dealing with two other emergencies. Now someone calls at 2:30 a.m., gets no answer, and immediately scrolls to the next tow company on their phone. There goes $200, and this is happening 15 times every single day. What's up? I'm Adiraj, and this video breaks down how to set up a hands-free tow truck dispatch system with Vapi and n8n. This thing grabs calls instantly, gets all the info it needs like where are you and can the car move at all, figures out what kind of job it is, tells them when help arrives, and then sends the right truck without anyone touching the keyboard. By the time we're done here, you'll have an AI phone operator running non-stop for whatever towing business you want to roll this out to. And here's what makes this insane. I'm not just theorizing, this setup is answering real breakdown calls this second. So let's jump straight into Vapi. Go ahead, click on Assistants, and then Create Assistant. Name this something like Towing Agent. And you can use a blank template, Create Assistant. Now pick GPT-4o Mini. If you've watched my other tutorials, you know this is my favorite. Or sorry, 4.1 Mini. And we choose this because it answers fast and costs basically nothing, and handles emergency calls really nicely. Okay, now keep this setting as is. Assistant speaks first, and the goal of this is so it picks up right away and says, hey, this is Los Angeles Towing, where are you located and what do you need? So no silence and no weird pauses, because that would make the stranded driver wonder if the call connected or not. Okay, so now go down to system prompt, and this is going to be blank for you, or it's going to be a blank template. Go over to my school community, and you'll see the tow trucks, and go over to master prompt tow. Copy this over, add a Command A, go back here, Command V, and there you go. Now click publish. So what does this do, right? This prompt is basically your entire dispatch handbook crammed into a bunch of text. So it shows the AI how to spot different job types like flatbed haul, wheel lift, car lockout, crash cleanup. It also shows the AI how to judge if something's urgent. Like, yeah, we can be there in 45 minutes versus this car is sideways across 2 lanes and we need boots on the ground in 10. It also shows the AI what details actually matter, like the exact address, or if it rolls or needs dragging, or if there's like danger, like sitting in moving traffic. So now hit publish, and at this point you already have a working tow dispatcher, but unfortunately it can't do anything yet. It's just like having a brain floating in space. We need to give it the hands. But before we do give it the hands, notice how I talked about that first message earlier. We want to go over here, go to that prompt, and copy and paste this in here. And you can change this to whatever you'd like, but this is just what the AI says as soon as it receives a call. All right. So how do we give it hands? All right. We do this with something called tools. Okay. And in this example, we are building 3 tools. And before I show you the process, let me explain what each one does and when the AI uses it. Okay. So here's the deal, right? Every tool needs certain pieces of information, and the AI figures out what goes where by listening to the caller and following the system prompt, right? So picture a paper form that your dispatcher fills out. The AI talks to someone on the highway, and when it hears the right details, it goes, cool, I can fill this form out now, and then runs the tool. So as you can see in the prompt, we do have 3 tools, and we tell the AI exactly when to call it. So qualify, availability, and book appointment, right? So let's go ahead and create the first tool, which is called Qualify Towing. Go over to Tools. We're going to call this tool Qualified Tow Truck. Okay. So this runs when someone explains what's wrong with their car, and go down here, click on JSON, and then go over to the community and grab this file, master qualify tow. Command A, copy it, and paste it in here. And click apply. Save our work. And these are our parameters, right? So we have the location, so where they're stuck, like an address, highway, exit, landmarks. We have our issue type, which is what is wrong. So it could be like a flat tire, dead battery, they're locked out, engine failure, they might be stuck in a ditch. You get the point. And then the vehicle type. So what kind of car they're driving, basically, right? And so here's how the AI knows what to put here, right? In our system prompt, we told it to ask stuff like, what kind of vehicle do you have? What's the problem? And so when someone answers, the AI pulls out those important parts and drops them into these slots. So if they say, I'm on the shoulder of I-405, heading south near exit 12 with a flat tire on my Honda Civic, the AI is going to fill out like vehicle type, Honda Civic, the location is I-45 southbound near exit 12 shoulder, and the issue type, flat tire, right? And the AI does it completely on its own because we built these fields and we trained it for what to listen for, right? So now we need to build another tool called availability tow truck. And this kicks in when someone needs to know what times we have open, right? Click on JSON again, go over to the files, master availability, and go ahead and paste that in. Click apply and save. And there's only one parameter here. It's called search date, as you can see. And this is what day they want service. Usually this is what day they want service. Usually it'll be the same day. So here's the flow so far, right? The AI has already gathered the breakdown details, right? Now it needs to show them when we can get there. And this tool checks your calendar and returns actual available time slots based on your schedule. And the system prompt tells the AI, after getting the breakdown details, check what times are available for today. The AI sees the qualification is done and knows to run this, okay? So that's availability tow truck tool. Now for our last and final tool, it's going to be for booking appointments. And as you can probably guess the name, it's called book appointment tow truck. Switch this to JSON and grab the master file for it, master book tow, and paste that in here. And over here, we do have 3 parameters. These 3 parameters. So we have the client name, start date time, and end date time. Client name is obviously their name, start date time, and end date time. You can probably guess what that is. And the key thing is that they are in ISF format. And so here's how it plays out. The AI has showed them the available slots by now, saying, all right, I have 2 p.m., 3:30, or 4 p.m. available today, and then they're going to pick one. So now the AI has literally everything. They have the client name from when it already asked before. Can I get a name? It has the start date time, which is a slot that they picked, and it has the end date time, which is a slot plus 30 minutes, right? And so the AI triggers this tool, Book Appointment Tow Truck, with all of that, and then n8n creates the calendar appointment. Now, why does this matter, right? Getting how these slots fill themselves is the whole game. The AI is not making stuff up. I want to emphasize this because it is listening to someone freaking out about their broken car and turning that into clean data that your system can actually use. And so you're basically teaching it to translate, I am screwed on the highway, into a proper appointment with everything that your crew needs. And every roadside call makes the assistant run one of these tools automatically. So it's no guessing and absolutely not winging it. It's just executing based on what it's heard so far. Okay, so these are the 3 tools we just created. And now let me walk through so it's crystal clear for you how these 3 tools chain together on a live call. So a caller might say, hey, I'm on Highway 101 going north near the airport turnoff, right? Blew a tire and I got no spare in the trunk. At this point, Vapi runs qualify tow truck and grabs the vehicle type, our issue type, and the location, right? The AI will ask for clarifying questions to get that vehicle type. It would have already extracted the issue type, flat tire, and it would have already gotten location, although it may even ask for more details, right? So now the AI is going to ask, what are you driving? And the caller responds, 2020 Ford F-150. So Vapi updates qualified tow truck, vehicle type, 2020 Ford F-150, and now it's got all of our information. So qualified tow truck succeeded, and then it'll go, oh, got it. Let me check what times I have available today. Now Vapi is going to run availability tow truck with the search date equals to today's date. n8n is going to pull up the calendar, generate the time slots, which we'll configure in a little bit. It's going to be set something like 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. in 30-minute blocks, and it's going to filter out book times plus a buffer time, a buffer period that we can set, and then it'll send back the available slots, right? Then the AI is going to respond saying, I can get you in at 2 p.m., 3:30 p.m., 5 p.m., which works better. Caller is going to respond, okay, 2 p.m. is solid. Vapi is then going to finally run book appointment tow truck with the client name, which it's already gone earlier, the start date time and the end date time, and then n8n is going to create that calendar event with all the qualification details, with a vehicle type, issue, location, customer name, phone, and Vapi is going to bundle everything together and it sends it to n8n, which is where the backend magic happens, right? But before all that, let's go and actually attach these three tools to our assistant, right? So go over to towing agent and tools and select these three tools we just made, okay? And click publish. So now we've connected the three tools we just made to our agent, and now let's assign it a phone number. So go over to phone numbers and click create phone number. And if you're in the US, you get 10 free phone numbers. It's not available. All right, let's use this one. And a cool thing I like to do is I like to use an area code that matches our coverage zone. So it actually looks like you're a local business. All right, so it looks like it was created. Let's give it a label. And go down here. And this is, so outbound basically means we're calling out. Inbound means that we're receiving calls, right? So this is an inbound agent. Click on assistance and then click on that agent that we just created, right? There we go. And click save. So this is pretty cool, right? You now have a live dispatch line, and if you dial it right now, the AI will pick up. And even though nothing books yet, since we haven't built out the backend, it's going to talk like a real person, which is pretty cool, right? So now let's fire up n8n, and when you open this, it's going to be an empty canvas just staring at you, but listen to me. You do not have to build this from zero. Click the three dots here, and you can import, click import, or even simpler, go over to the file called master tow. You're going to click into this, click Command C, and then just click Command V, and then it'll look just like this for you, right? And so the whole thing will load in one shot with the webhook, decision logic, availability checker, the appointment creator, and the confirmations already wired up for you, right? So now let me explain each piece in detail so you can tweak it for different shops or add stuff like text to customers or pings to drivers. And I'm deliberately going deep here so you're not jumping around YouTube trying to piece together what is going on. All right, so first things first, let's talk about the webhook, right? This webhook node is where everything enters. So every request from your AI dispatcher hits this spot. And when you make this webhook in n8n, you'll get a URL by clicking in here. Oh, and click on production. So production URL. And we're going to want to actually go ahead and paste this into Vapi, right? So this is what links our agent to n8n. So go all the way down to messages. All right. And paste that in there and click publish. All right. And while we're here, go ahead and turn off every single one of these except for tool call, just so we're not calling n8n so much. Oh, two calls. Now, based on your use case, you could turn a few of them on, like end of call report, but for this demo, all you really need is tool calls, all right? Now I'm going to talk about what comes in to our webhook every time a tool runs. It's basically a JSON with a few things. And I'm going to talk about it, but I'm also going to paste something in my notes so you can kind of follow along to what I'm saying, right? So it comes in with these couple things, right? So it comes in with an array first, which is our tool name and all the information that the AI has collected. It comes in with an ID, which is part of that array. And this basically is how n8n tells Vapi this is the answer for that specific request. And then we have our function name, which are those functions that we created earlier. And we have the arguments, which is basically the data that that function is going to return or has collected. That's our customer's phone number, pretty straightforward, whoever's calling. And then it has artifact messages, which is the full history of the conversation, okay? And so this is ground zero, right? If this webhook breaks, the whole thing dies. So make sure your Vapi webhook URL matches this node, and you want to set it to post. You set this path to whatever you want. I set it to Vapi-towing, and make sure that the respond is using respond to webhook node, right? And we do this because we want to send data back, right? Now, next up is this switch node, right? This basically reads which tool fired and then decides where the data goes. So here's the setup, right? There's three outputs, each with a check. Now the check looks at one of those bullets I just mentioned earlier, which is basically a member of tool calls. And all it's going to do, right, is now it checks the function name. So whether it's availability, book appointment, or qualify, it's going to go down the respective path. And so I like to think about it like a switchboard. One webhook can trigger different actions depending on where we are in the call. So if the caller describes the breakdown and the AI needs to check available times, Vapi fires availability tow truck. The webhook would catch that, switch reads it, sends it to output 1, and then now if the caller picks a time slot, Vapi would fire book appointment tow truck, and the switch sends it to output 2. And so this is how the whole workflow knows exactly where to go. Now let's explore the top flow, right, for check availability. First up, we have our get calendar. And so when AI checks availability and the switch sends it to output 1, first thing we do is grab your calendar. And this is that Google Calendar node. It's set to get all, which basically pulls every event in a time window. The time window is time min and time max. Basically, time min is a search date from the tool call, and time max is the end of that same day. So if someone calls wanting a service today, this pulls all appointments you've already booked for today. And the key thing is in settings, you want to have always output data on, which means that if the calendar is empty, n8n still passes valid data instead of just crashing. An empty calendar just means that you're totally free, and without this, an empty calendar stops the whole workflow dead. And the output of this is an array of appointments. Each one's going to have that start time, end time, and details. And then that goes to our next node, which is a merge node. The merge node smashes two things together. One is the Vapi tool call with the search date, and two is the calendar results showing what's already booked. And you absolutely need both before our next code node, where we generate and filter available slots. This merge, if we click into it, happens by position. So item 1 from the webhook meets item 1 from the calendar, keeping everything lined up. And so why do we need both of these things? The webhook is going to tell us what day we want, and the calendar tells us what's already taken. And the next node, which is the code node, needs both in order to calculate open slots. The merge is on combined by position, so if webhook has one item and the calendar has one item, even like an empty array, they become one joint single item with both datasets. And this is super critical for our next step. Now, this code node is basically the brain of the entire workflow. This is where we create potential time slots and filter out the ones that are already booked. And so let me walk you through the logic here, right? The code node starts by reading the webhook data. It grabs message tool call 0, which is the tool object, and pulls out the tool ID and arguments. Now the tool ID is super key because this is how n8n tells Vapi, here are the slots for your request, and the arguments have the search date. Next, we're going to need to actually define our operation rules using this config object. And so as you can see over here, the time zone set to LA. I've set the workday start hour, the workday end hour, booking cadence, so how often the slots are occurring. Right now it's set to 30 minutes. The meeting duration minutes, so how long the meeting is, and the buffer before minutes, and the buffer after minutes. So before and after, how much buffer do we want meeting to meeting, right? So you can change this, and I hope you do, to however you want. If you want to run 7 a.m. to 8 p.m., change workday start hour and workday end hour. If you want 60-minute appointments, change meeting duration minutes, okay? Next is we want to actually generate potential slots. Okay, so the code takes the search date and creates slots from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. in 30-minute chunks. So think 8 to 8:30, 8:30 to 9, all the way until 6 p.m. And that's all the potential appointment times for the day, right? Now we need to check what's already booked, right? And so the code looks at calendar, and so the code looks at calendar data from merge, and it's going to pull booked appointments and add 15-minute buffers before and after each one. So if you have an appointment at 2 to 2:30, it's going to block out 1:45 to 2:45 p.m., right? Now we need to filter out the conflicts. And so now we need to filter out any potential conflicts. And so the code's going to basically compare potential slots against booked times. And if a slot overlaps with any booked appointment, including buffers, it's going to get filtered out, right? And what remains are the genuinely available slots, right? And finally, we're going to need to actually format our response. So the code's going to convert the available slots into a readable format. And so not that ISO time, but like a human readable time, like Thursday. And just so you have an idea of what an ISO time looks like, let me show you right here, right? And so instead, basically, this is an ISO time, right? It's not going to actually read this out to the person, but it would read something like this, right? Imagine hearing this on a phone call. You don't want to hear that, right? You want to hear something human, nice, like this, right? So now that's what the AI reads to the customer, and then it's going to return an object with the tool call ID, which is an ID from the original request, and it's going to return available slots, which is an array of times in a human readable format, plus that ISO format. And then this goes to our next node, which it sends it back to Vapi, right? And this is a reply with slots. This is a respond to Webhook node. And this shoots the available slots back to Vapi and formats it as JSON with a tool call ID and the slots list, right? So the exact format that Vapi wants is something like this. So notice the result is a stringified JSON. Vapi wants the tool response as a string, not as a nested object. So the respond to Webhook handles this when you set it to JSON mode with expression syntax. Over here, it's the expression. And Vapi gets this, reads available slots, and the AI is going to say, I have 2 p.m., 3:30 p.m., and 5 p.m. open today. Which one works for you? The caller is going to pick a time, and now we hit the booking, right? So now when the caller picks a slot, the book appointment tow truck tool runs. And so the switch sends it to output 2 straight to this Google Calendar node called book lead. And this is set to create, which makes a new appointment. And so the fields it fills are a calendar, which is our dispatch calendar ID. Usually it's going to be your email. You need to connect your email here. It's going to get the start time, the end time. Start date time is going to come from that tool call, which is the slot that they picked. The end date time is going to come also from the tool call, which is 30 minutes later. And then we have our summary, which is tow truck appointment followed by their name. And then the description, which is where it gets kind of interesting, right? So the description pulls from multiple places, right? It pulls client name from book appointment tow truck tool, gets the phone from the webhook via the message customer number, gets a vehicle type from qualify, the issue from qualify, and also the location from qualify, right? So the tricky part is that the book appointment tow truck only has the name and times, right? It doesn't have vehicle, issue, location details, so where does that all come from? That comes from the conversation history, and the webhook includes message artifact messages, which is the full call transcript. The code searches that array, finds where AI called qualify tow truck, grabs the arguments from that tool call, and then pulls out all the qualification stuff. And these are the expressions that are doing that. So it searches the messages, finds qualify tow truck tool, parses the arguments, extracts the vehicle type, and does the same for these other entries. By the time that your driver sees the appointment, they already know it's 2 p.m. Honda Civic, flat tire, and Highway 101 northbound near airport exit, John Smith, 555, whatever, right? Huge advantage. So the driver already knows what gear to grab and exactly where to go. So now we have the respond to Webhook, which is the confirmation response, successful booking. So this basically just says appointment successfully booked and pretty straightforward format. Vapi gets this and the AI says, perfect, you are all set for 2 p.m. today. We'll have your truck at your location on Highway 101. You'll get a text reminder 30 minutes before. Anything else I can help you with? Okay, so that's it for this. Now we have our qualification successful. So if a caller just describes the breakdown but does not book yet, the qualified tow truck runs, and the switch sends to output 3 and hits this respond to webhook called qualification successful. It'll log the details and then return the lead qualification noted. The AI might say, got all your information, let me check what times I have availability today, and then it's going to run availability tow truck next. This path simply exists because we need to capture all the vehicle and breakdown details first and then move to scheduling. It keeps the flow and order clean. All right, so now it's time to test our tow truck agent. Go over to Vapi and check out that number that we created. Go to phone numbers. Towing agent. Let's give it a call.
Thanks for calling Los Angeles Tow Truck Service. This is Riley. What kind of vehicle issue are you dealing with today?
Hey Riley, I'm stuck on the I-5 southbound near exit 68. My engine overheated and it's not going to turn over. It's a 2020 Porsche 911.
Got it. Your 2020 Porsche 911 has engine trouble on I-5 southbound near exit 68. Let's get this sorted out. I'll schedule one of our certified tow truck operators to come by and help. Since you're stranded, we can prioritize getting someone out to you ASAP. Does that sound good?
Yeah, sounds good.
Great. What day and time work best for you? If it's ASAP, just let me know.
Yeah, could we do like right now?
I see today's fully booked for scheduled appointments, but since you're stranded and need help right now, I'll see if we can get a driver out urgently. Hang tight for a moment while I check on that. Since this is an urgent situation, I'll get our team moving right away and have a tow truck driver dispatched to your location ASAP. Can I get your full name to make sure we have everything ready?
Yeah, my name's Adiraj.
Thanks, Edaraj. I've got you in line for immediate assistance with your Porsche on I-5 southbound near exit 68. Our driver is on the way to help with the engine trouble. We'll call you if we need any more info before they arrive. Hang tight. Help is coming.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Okay. So there you have it. It actually classified my call as super urgent and then booked me in immediately. So that's the tow truck agent. And real talk, these companies are missing calls all day. The dispatcher's talking to another customer, it's 3 a.m. and nobody's up, or they are out helping someone. And that missed ring is $200 gone to whoever picks up next. And in towing, the first answer usually gets the gig. Your AI picks up instantly, and there's zero missed calls ever, even at 3 a.m. It grabs all the critical information like vehicle type, what's wrong, how urgent it is, exact location, books appointments automatically, as you just saw, and it's going to show actual available times from your calendar. There's no double booking, no scheduling conflicts, and it's going to create these calendar entries with the full details attached, and it runs 24/7, right? These breakdowns happen whenever, and it solves a massively expensive problem for these small and medium towing shops. The setup cost is basically nothing versus paying a full-time dispatcher. So there you have it. That is your AI tow truck dispatcher. The Vapi runs the calls, n8n runs the logic, and Google Calendar manages the appointments. If you want the full workflow JSON, the system prompt file, the tool configs, and the full build breakdowns for other industries like HVAC, plumbing, roofing, and roadside, it's all in my school community. You can download the files, clone workflows, and customize it for your clients, and that way you'll be able to launch a working demo today. The link is in the description, and drop a comment telling me what industry you want me to build out next, and I'll catch you in the next one.